So any screen, if you want to just see what is the program name and screen number, the navigation is system status. If you go to this, you will have a section called SAP data. In that you can see what is the transaction, what is the program screen, screen number and GUI status. We'll see all of this, what are this and all. So if you just double click on the screen number, it will take you to my module pool program. So this is my flow logic looks. There are different parts in that, we'll discuss all. And if you click layout, it will take you to the screen painter. So where you can design the screen. So this is how it is designed, and on my actual screen it looks the same. So if you just drag and drop, or you can just whatever you want to do, you can do. So this is an SAP all authorization. Okay, no authorization here again. Okay, let me see if I have create access. Register objects, or this is a standard one. I just tried it. It is not. So let me try creating a program. See, if you want to create a module pool program, it should be first a SE38 report. Then you can create screens on top of it. So there are multiple ways you can create screens. We will discuss one by one. This is the basic one. So I'll demo for module pool. I'll just create this program. And before creating, I'll just show in SE50. The transaction is SE51. Not sure if I have put it. It is there here. Module pool programs. Okay. So that is a transaction. I'll just try. Okay, SE51. So the basic expectation here is the program whatever you are giving here should already be existing. So if I try creating it, we'll see what will happen. It will not allow actually. Demo module pool. On the screens, right? If your program is already having a selection screen, 1000 will be a default number. Otherwise, you can give randomly any number, any 4-digit number. If I try create, so it is a program doesn't exist. So the basic expectation here is the program should be existing, then you can create screens on top of it. So I'll go ahead with my module pool. Okay, then module pool program. Here you can select module pool status. Okay, it is fine. Package. Okay, new package I'll have to create. Let me create a package, or I'll put it in a G package. So this is a new system actually. So nothing will be the transports. Okay, nothing is there. Let me create it package. You just give me 2 minutes. SE21. Yeah, so this is a module pool. We'll just activate it and we'll start creating. Okay, so many net objects. Save. Okay, now I'll create a screen for this 100. So if I just click on create, For each screen number we can give separate description. I'll just give screen 100. Okay, so here we have some screen types. So one model dialog box, subscreen or normal. Normal screen is, yeah, it will just give a background. For subscreen it is like you can include it in different tabs. So this one, whatever screen we are just seeing now, is a subscreen because it is in a tab. So what they'll do is they'll put in a tab navigation, put a subscreen and a model dialog box. Okay, model dialog box is nothing but a pop-up which comes up. Okay, so when you give some informations or it's a pop-up screen, you can just put it. When you call this screen, it will come as a pop-up screen. Then the settings are like whole data. So if there are multiple input screens or input fields, if you just navigate between any transactions and come back, this setting will hold the data. So that is this one. Switch off runtime compress. This is for backend only. Hold scroll position. The template is also, it's like what you say, this template, you have a prefix templates like, okay, if my sales order, just give this template, purchase order, give this template, like that. Hold scroll position means it will just if you, this is only applicable for tables. Suppose there are 20-30 entries are there, you just keep on scrolling and you do some other actions and come back. The scroll, generally what will happen is the scroll will again go to my first entry. So you don't want if you don't want that to happen, you can just click this setting, hold scroll position. And without application toolbar is, what is application toolbar is this one, the icons whatever you see is application toolbar. This will be menu. So this is again a part of some screen, right? So this is, there are three different menus actually. The application toolbar, sorry, this is the application toolbar. So if you say without application toolbar, this will not come. Let me check it, what will happen, we'll see. So next screen would be, so if you are navigating, by default what will happen, the same number will come into picture. So the other positions, screen groups, these are like based on used case. So where should be my initial cursor position? So generally now you will not have any fields. So if you have any fields and you want to edit it, those field names will come. So by default when it open the transaction, there should be my cursor. Then screen group, like you have suppose maybe 5 or 6 screens and you are grouping it, you can use it here. Lines column, this is setting actually how many lines and columns you want. Then context menu, generally we don't use it, it will be there only in standard programs, so we'll see that later. So I'll just save it, inactive, I'll make it active. See, by default my object alone will be checked, so no need to worry about the big list actually. The one which you are activating will be always default selected. Yeah, it's active now, so you will have one screen on it. Now what are the different things available, we'll just discuss, then we'll get into the example. So my attributes are having my settings as it is, so it will say what is the description, all these packages. Then the element list, so it will say what are elements available in your screen. So my OK code comes by default because OK code is something, this command. So if you give some OK code fields, that will by default go into this command area. Then whatever fields you put, input, output, all this will come into picture. Let's add some fields later. Now the flow logic. Okay, so flow logic by default there will be two modules. Okay, one is process before output and process after input. Okay, so these are the two events actually, like how we have events in my reports. Similarly we have these default events. After that there are certain events, we'll discuss those. So okay, I think I have opened the screen. Let me close this actually. So what will happen is this process before output is before my screen comes on the UI. Okay, that will be this logic will be executed. So my module status is like it is PBO. It is generally called as PBO module and PAI module. Okay, so whatever code you write below this PBO module, it will be executed before the screen call, and whatever you give after input will be executed once you click something on my screen. Okay, so once you go to the layout, you can just start adding fields. Okay, So for that example, what are fields available on my screen? We'll take an existing example maybe. So this is how my screen looks. So here you can add whatever fields you want. My text, you can add radio checkboxes, radio buttons. This is tab strip. So if you have multiple tabs, you can just add it here. Table control. So if you want to display a table, you can use it. And custom control. This one you generally use it for my ALV report. So if you have a screen and you want to display an ALV, we'll create a custom container, and we can also use this for some other purpose like any container based elements like internal tables, all those. This is again status icon. So you can just put whatever values you need. Radio buttons, yes, push buttons. These are the normal push buttons. So you can configure this. One by one we'll see actually. We will take one big example and we'll see it. So this is how my screen painter. This is called screen painter. Okay, so we can just use this for adding. There are also certain ways you can include my structures. Suppose you have a big structure and you want to show it, you can just show it actually. Just give me a minute. I'll just see if I can have an example. I'll take an example of the SC38 report itself and we'll discuss how we'll put the breakpoints and we'll see. Okay, so this is the program for SC38 report. So we'll just see how the layout is. So this is the layout. So it has one input field, one, two, three buttons and a group of radio buttons. Okay, these are the boxes actually. Sub objects. You can put it as sub objects. The text box name it is. So if you just double click on whatever element, I'll go it and I think change mode will not work. It locks for access key. Yes. So if you just double click, see you will get a pop-up with the screen parameters actually. So here you can edit. So this is a group program. This is a field you can have. So this is a structure actually. What we can do is from this structure you can just show. So these are all the UI settings. So with icon, scrollable, these are the settings. Like suppose you want to go with any big field. So you want to scrollable, you can put it. And groups are like there are some 4 groups you can put it to have a control over my UI. Suppose for example, maybe you can take this is part of one group and you want to enable disable it based on certain conditions. So if you just put group now, you can just enable disable screen inputs. There are certain fields you can dynamically handle them. And function code is this will be applicable for my buttons actually. So for UI it is like yes, this is a button, but on backend programming that should have a function code so that okay, this button is clicked, that function code will be captured, and that based on that function code you can just have your logic. Okay, so then button we will see. So if you have button, it's less new. So for this new, there will be some logic written in the backend. So similarly for display, see shop, whatever. See there are no standard things. You can give whatever you want, but you have to handle this in your code. Okay, that is on my the second section. The third one attribute. What will happen is if it is from my you see here you can again add it from structures I said, right. So that should be from a data dictionary. So these are the you can just want to map it with the data dictionary, the properties will automatically come up. So that is called from dictionary. If you say yes, it will be coming from a data dictionary. Then my all the parameters in my conversion exit or my search help reference field parameter, these are coming from a backend which have on my data element and domain level settings. Okay, then these two actually the set and get parameters are actually for two things. One is for my logical database, or you can just use it for my global memory, SAP global memory. So there are certain syntaxes like set parameter, get parameter in code level. If you want this field to access that memories, you can just check these two boxes. Then foreign key check is the same one. what we have in my table level. So again, which field you want to check that value, you can put it. And uppercase is lowercase, the same value, same thing. In data domain level, we have, right, case sensitive. It is the same. This is on the UI level. Then coming to program, how this field should perform, like it's an input field or output field. These are all the settings, like okay, you only output. Then possible entries. Possible entries means you can restrict the entries actually. So saying that is for like how the check table works. Then write justified is a UI. Again UI related. Leading zeros. This will if you check this, it will accept with leading zeros. Otherwise, it will run the conversion exit in the backend and display the seeable values. Entry is for like how we can say, that is actually not much used, so we can ignore it. Without reset and without template is, see, without reset. So when the UI is again and again it is triggered, you can just hold the value. So previously we saw that setting, right, hold data. So similarly it is, that is for the program level. Now the display level, see, this is again the completely UI specific ones. So you can just see what are the values available based on your UI requirement. You can check any of this. So this is all completely yes. So invisible, bright, basic directional TR, response zone to double click. So these are just on the UI level settings. So this is the complete thing on my field level settings. Okay. Now what else we can do on this is like, okay, table control. There is something called table control. This will come into picture when you want to display a table value. So there are some mappings, all those. We'll see an example for that. And tab strip, yes, this is what already we saw. What is a tab strip? This itself is a tab strip actually. So what will happen? These are all subscreens of a tab strip. So if we can go to system and status. So now I am. We'll just see what is the repository data. So it says this is transaction. What is the program screen? What is the screen number? Okay, so I will see what how this tab strip looks like. I'll just click on my screen number. Okay, so it has a tab strip control. See, this is the tab strip, and it will call a subscreen. For each tab strip there is a subscreen. So on the layout, if you can see, there will be subscreens and tab strips. So we'll see that example. Yeah. If you see, this is a tab strip. Okay, tab strip control. This is a push button element type. Okay, yeah, push button. This is a sub control. Okay, subscreen area. See, so for each tab there will be subscreen area. So the subscreen again will be assigned some screen number. Then it will behave like that only. So the screen number you can just see in the code. We'll just come back to that. Tab strip. See, this is the tab strip control. So on each tab strip control, they'll have a button on top of that. So that button settings we can see here. This is part of button strip. So this naming convention and all, it is purely based on what you give. So that is the reason it is coming up. So if you see, the reference field is also there. So attributes, see that we can just see the text, the button name, reference field, so the program, nothing would be there. Display, nothing is there. So it is just a basic screen. So this is screen number. On top of that you will see. So now I'll go back to the flow logic. So now we'll take this example and we'll see how it works. Okay. Now, okay, one more thing what we can show is, see, if you want to see how the screen looks in my actual, what you say, the screen, actual usage, or on my SAP screen, you can just execute it. You can test it. So it will just ask for window coordinates. So this is my test screen. So if you see, it is similarly the same as SE38 only. The only thing is the description would change. This is actually my test screen. So if you go back, this is my program screen. So whatever description you give on the program will come up here actually. That is on my screen painter. So you can just navigate back to, we had three pop-ups, I mean tabs, right? Like flow logic, attributes, and element list. You can just go back to any of those. So this is my flow logic. Element list, it is just like what you see there, that is on screen painter, and this is just on a UI list thing. Okay, now it has a program, then input output. There are certain push buttons. So this is on the event name. So this is for create. Then if I see the double click, nothing will happen actually. So what kind of input output is the coordinates? So this is like static one. So if you want to change the coordinates, actually you can just do it here. I'll just drag and drop that. It is just a drag and drop. So now field levels, it is generic attributes. Okay. Now if you go to the next tab, it will say which are the inputs, which are outputs. If anything is having an icon. The screen pointer and this one is, that screen pointer is a set, like the normal graphical interface, and this is like a list interface, like whatever are there, each will come in the list. So this will help when you want to maybe just check. See, this is a small screen, that is why you not face much issue. So if you create a big screens or any custom screens with three, four sub screens, then you will have issues. So here you can just see what kind of elements are there. One text is there, input output, one push button. So what for this push button, what is the symbol, what is the icon text you have given. So see, so execute, we have create, display, and change. So these things you can see it here. Okay, then what kind of screen element it is. So some one box was there. Okay, so that's a box with sub objects is the heading. So if you can just correlate with my screen. Let me show by split screen so that it will be easy. So each and every element here will be listed in this list. So if you see here, so this is my box. Let me put it somewhere. See, the sub objects is my box. This is the box for my radio button as well as my display and change button. So that will command, that is coming under my box. So all the radio buttons, so edit, source code, all this it will come. So one is for text and one is for button. So for each element you will have two. So if you say function edit, this is for source code. One is the radio button and one is for radio button text. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here we'll have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in that, it is like for one radio button, it is like one radio button element and my radio button text. So 10 are coming. Then two buttons have come up, display as well as change. You can see here. See display with this shop, what is the function code, and CHAP is for change. And F code will have default for all the screens. It's a function code, OK code they'll say. So this is how my UI looks in my list. Now special attributes and display attributes, if you want to make like read only, all those attributes, you can either control from my each field level that pop-up came na, there you can control as well as here. Those values will reflect here. If you want to directly change here also you can change it. Then modification groups and functions. So these are the groups I said. We had below we had 4 inputs for my group slide. Those are the groups here actually. If it is part of some group, it will show group 1, 2, 3, 4 would be there. I'll just expand this. So whatever is there on my graphical painter level, everything will be listed here. So there we saw 4 fields. That is the reason it is coming. All 4 fields are there. Then switch. And how that field should be available, hide or display. So these are completely UI settings. So references, we had a field called reference and match help ID, like match code. So those values will come up here. So this is about all my element list. Now coming back to my flow logic, this is where you can write all logic where you want to control the screen flow. Okay. Now, so these modules are like, the system will prompt only this PBO and PI. Other things are based on your requirement actually. So set status, this is for my GUI status. So GUI status is nothing but my whatever the menu bar should be there, or what my application toolbar should be there. These all will come as part of GUI status. Okay. Then we'll create all this actually. We'll take an example and we'll create a simple application. Then we'll go with complex applications. So this is chain and chain. So this is for a set of group of fields. So here my group is a radio button. So there is a chain and chain. We can see. So it will say like on what selection what should happen. So each module is again a perform one. So similarly, how perform and forms will be there. Similarly, there is a module. It's like for modularization only, nothing else. So if says it's F code, so some action it is doing. That's it. So we will see that. We'll take an example and we'll see how to create it. Now this is process on value request. This is like for F4 help. So on program name, we have a F4 help, right? So on field, this is the field. So this event will be triggered when there is an F4 click. Okay, now this field is like program name and module catalog. Catalog is a random name what we can give. So what it will do is it does some F4 help. So call function dinpro values read is like from this rep ID is my program name, and din number is my screen number. So it will give back all the field F4 field help. So let me just put F4 debugger and we'll see. You cannot put breakpoint. Sorry, here it will not allow actually. That is the only disadvantage of this. So what we can do is we can just need to go inside my uh, module. Here only you have an option to put a debugging. So we'll just try whether this triggers or not. Okay, what I'll do again, let me close this. I'll put set status also. I'll just put one debug. Okay, just to understand how the flow is. So I have put one breakpoint on PBO module. Okay, then one on my field request, sorry, value request. Program, sorry, value request, and one I'll put on my PI as well. So module, maybe set text. So now I'll execute SC38. So the expectation here is first the PBO breakpoint should get triggered. Okay, so this set status has come. So this is my PBO module. Okay, so set status of my module output. So here you can just see what is a loaded program, and there is something called call stack. We'll just see. Okay, so these are the call stacks. So from SC38 I have come, so it's a big list actually. So this is my screen, PBO screen. So if you see now PBO screen is the first, then PBO module, then it has come to my module PBO, this one. So this is the flow. So this is on my initial load. So now what it is? So my PBO triggers before my screen execution. Let me click F8. This is my screen. So now what I'll do is I'll click F4. So this should trigger my on process value request. See, module catalog. So that has come from where is this? See this one RS38 I have put on my what is it? Process help. Sorry, I forgot that event. This event process on value request. I clicked on F4, right? So F4 actually what happens? Why this is process after input is there some input has been given on my screen. So that will take as process after input. Then it will navigate here. Okay, so that is the reason you can see module PI catalog. Now I'll just give F8. So it will come up with all my F4 help. So this is a function module they generally use. I'll just select something. Okay, now I click on maybe display. This will again create trigger my PI. See, this is for my PI. This one I fixed now. say a breakpoint, so it will come here. So a function code is what we assign them four characters in the pop-up, right? When you click a button, we given a function code. So that function code will be tracked here as SHOP. So based on that, you can just write your logic. That's it. So this is the basic understanding of my three modules: PBO, PI, and what any other events on PI. So there are certain two or three for value request and help request. There are two events. So this is the basic thing on my screens. So this is very simple example, but when we just go on, there might be some complex examples as well. So let's try creating some basic buttons and UIs. So we'll see how it behaves actually. Okay, 100. So I already have it. So if I create, it already exists. So then click on change. So we'll have to enable this first module status. Okay. So in module status, PBO module does not exist. Create. Okay. So you can this is again my modularization. You can put in the same program, or you can put it in a separate include. So I'll give status. Maybe it will come O01. It is like the nomenclature is like this. It will prompt. It's the PBO module for which screen and output. So O stands for PBO. This O is there, not this one. I'll just create it. Module is status. I'll create it. It will create a new entry. So this has come. Okay. So in this we will have find two things: set PF status as well as set title bar. The title bar is nothing but the title text. What you see here: sub app editor change include something. So you can just take it and give it. It is the title bar of demo program. So any text you give, it is recommended like you need to create a standard text actually, because it will be easy for translations. So my system is in English currently, so it is no issues. But if you go with any foreign languages, it will be easy for conversion, text conversion or translation, what it is, whatever it is. Saved. Okay, so let me try creating a text maybe. So generally, if we double click now, it should navigate. Not sure what happened. Title bar. Okay, so go to text elements, text symbols. This is how you navigate. I'll just copy it. I'll give a number 001. We can also give text 001. Let's see if it accepts. Yes, it does. Okay. It will navigate here. So it has been accepted as a text. Now, what is this PF status? So this is my GUI status. So what will happen on my screen? So this menus, this buttons, then my application toolbar, everything is controlled in my GUI status. So you can give any name, but the recommended thing is GUI status underscore screen name is what we generally give just for like easy understanding. I'll just save it. To create this, you can just have three ways. One is you can just double click and it will create. So if I navigate same thing in my object browser, so you have a shortcut here, display navigation window, and this is display list object. Both this is how it looks. Okay, navigation window. This So still the PBO module, one screen we have created. That's it. So we haven't created any PIA module. So that is the reason it will not show here. Okay. So here if you just right click, create. So whatever you want, here this is through program. So I created my title bar text through program. So there is another way of creating GUI status, GUI titles, everything you can create. So this is one way we can create GUI status. So it will ask, okay, what is the program? What is the status you want to create? What type of status type it is. So similarly, if I just double click, it says GUI status does not exist, create. So I can just create it. The same pop-up comes, right? GUI status for screen 0100. So these are the user interface. So it's like menu bar. Okay, so this is the menu bar with OK code, save button. All these are menu bar. And application toolbar. This is the application toolbar. What buttons you have on top of this application toolbar. And function keys. Function keys are like shortcuts. So if you see insert entry, Control plus F10. So what does it mean is for this particular UI, they have assigned this shortcut key for this menu bar. Okay, now we'll see one by one. My menu bar, this is the expansion, or you can just use this for insert relationship. Okay, we generally don't use this because nothing is defined actually. So menu bar, I'll expand it. So this display standard is already the standard buttons. What all are there suggested by SAP will be displayed. So it's like object, edit, go to extras, menu bar. So this is the menu bar. Okay. So standard by default, what will happen is edit, go to extras and environment will be there. So edit, go to and utilities. Utilities not the extras and environment. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll leave it as it is. Later we'll add it. Now second one is application toolbar. So here nothing is there. You can add anything whatever you want. Okay, so function keys. So this is the standard toolbar. Okay, so whatever you see here, this is the OK code. This first symbol, then save, back, log off, cancel. So same order if you observe, what all fields are there in the standard, it will come. Now if I give any event here, save, back, whatever events I give here, log off, exit. I'll give only these four. So these four will be coming. So recommended function key settings is for okay. So this one is like events again. F3 is for back. So these are standard ones. So if you want to assign, you can assign. Otherwise, you can leave it. So these are the freely assigned function keys. So whatever you want to give, maybe control F1, F2, you can just give the events whatever you want to put it. So I'm not adding anything. I'll just leave it as it is. Okay, then there is an option called function code, active, inactive. So you just put it, it is deactivated. If it is showing in red, it means it is deactivated. Okay, then function code, you can just see active. Choose a function, sorry. So active and inactive. So if it is like you already have a button, but you just need to inactivate, we can just make it inactive. What I'll do here is search. I'll give and make it inactive. Okay. So instead of, there is a difference in clearing it off and making it inactive. If it clears off, all the events in the backend code will be deleted. So if you inactive, it will say, boss, currently I don't want to use it. So I'll just put it inactive. So I have configured 5, but my expectation is only 4 should come up on my screen. So this is all about my user GUI status. So it will be consisting of 3 function keys we have configured. Application toolbar, I haven't configured anything. User interface. This is a standard one. So you can even add custom objects. So I'll activate it. Activate. So what we have done is we have given my GUI status and text title. Sorry, title text. These two. I'll just activate this also. We can just run it from here. Okay. So I'll just go to another window. With this program, you can also see in SE38, but not It will not get executed because it's a module pull. I have put a breakpoint in SE38, so let me remove that. So this one, display. I'll delete all my breakpoints. Save it, execute. So this is my SE38 report. So my whatever you see in the module pool, you can see it here as well. I'll activate it. Main program. Okay. If I try executing, it will say, "Boss, this is not a type it is not report, so it not executed directly from here. You should either test it from your module pool or assign it to a transaction and execute it." So to see the code, you can just come back. So GUI status we created, so it includes a program here. Now going back to my SE51 screen, I'll close this as well. Sorry, I closed everything. Execute direct process. This one still not accept. Screen it's inactive. You can test this screen actually. So test. If you just give coordinates, it will just come up. So this is a test screen. So if you just will see what will happen. The actual screen. Module pool. This is the program. I'll try to put it in a transaction. Module pool. Program and screen dialog. Module pool. Program is this and screen number. It has come 100 because only one screen is there. If there are multiple screens, it will give an option. So I'll create another screen here. Screen, create. I'll just give 200. Nothing else. I'll just give and activate it. Screen 200. I'll activate. Now I have two screens. So the expectation here is two screens should come up. See, it has given two screens. So I'll select 100. Just save it. I'll just execute it. Transaction. Okay, the text will come up. So for me, only the menu bar works. So we had given 4 buttons and fifth one we put it in disable. So it's only 4 are showing here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Text is not coming. We'll see why. So the buttons are not working because we haven't written any code for it actually. Otherwise it will work. Okay, so I'll just close it. Okay, now I'll create a PI. PAI screen. Go back to my screen SE51. Flow logic, I'll just change it. Okay, I'll double click user command. It doesn't exist, so it will just create. So if you see here, this comes with my I, that is PAI module. I'll create an include actually, so that it will be easy for segregating. So now PAI module is also ready. Okay, I'll just activate it. So PBO and PAI both are ready now. So in PAI, we'll just note down what the elements we have given. GUI status, application toolbar, I haven't given anything. So edit, go to external, this will not help. Function keys, save back, log off and exit. Okay, so we have these 4 events actually. We'll just handle maybe back now. Okay, we'll see how it works. Now it's the PBO. Let's go. We'll add some fields, maybe 1 or 2 buttons. I'll go to the layout. So this is a plain screen here. So we can just give whatever elements you want. We can do it. So what I'll do is I'll just give a input. Okay, maybe 1 button, 1 or 2 buttons. So my idea here is I'll just enter something, and thing is what I'll do is clear, and maybe other thing is what we can do, print. We'll see how it works. Okay, any name you can give, input space, it will be taken as default by underscore. You cannot give spaces here. Input field. Okay, now I'll give the text here. This is the help text. Okay, input field means in that field what you want to show it, like help field it will be. Label I'll have to put it separately. Okay, so this is how the input field looks like. Okay, so I'll just remove the properties. If I just double click, all my properties will get opened here. So what is the line, what is the definition length, how many columns. You can dynamically also change it. Which column the position starts, visible length. Now it is 45. I'll make it maybe 20. I can just play around with the values. See, if I change my UI values, they'll just keep on changing. The function code you cannot give because no action is there on this. Okay, so similarly I'll just place it here. Then I'll go to my element, this one. So text will be by default like this only. We can edit my name here as well as in my pop-up. Okay, so what I'll do is this is clear space button. Okay, text I'll give clear. Clear, and if I give space now, it will just auto adjust my button size. It will just keep on adjusting, or we can just give different, because length definition you cannot give yet, visible length only you can give because it doesn't have, so the button size will change. 20, so I'll make it 20. This is the position. Which line? Line means the horizontal, so line is maybe it will have some coordinates, so it's 8th line, 24th column. If we change this, it will just keep on changing. I want to move it up, maybe I'll put it 7, it will goes up. Now 8, it comes down. So here you can just play around. 25 maybe I'll do, so it will move. So it will help both in drag and drop also you can do, or you can just change it like this. Now if you see change it, double click, it will change. So you can just play around here. So this is for clear. It still shows in red because we haven't given any function code. CLEAR. If you want to change any function type, you have an option here actually. What it is kind of, it's a transaction or system one. This one is currently disabled. So if none, by default it will take none only. Okay, now if you just want to put it as output field, nothing will come up actually. It will just clear, no output, input it will accept for. So then you can do, maybe you can just see here. So by default, it is both my input and output. If I give output only, it will be disabled for input. Simple. So I remove this, just keep it input. Now this is what kind of field. Suppose not possible means you cannot give on the UI. Recommended, you just give an icon, but required is a mandatory field. So on UI it will show that red button. So I'll make it mandatory. One clear, one is we can make it maybe print. I'll just remove it. Print. Okay. If you want to give any icon, you can just click it here. See, these are all icons available as a pre-select. Okay, so maybe you can just scroll down. is okay. All these icons, whatever you see in standard buttons, are available here. Print also will be there somewhere. So this is by browsing. If you know the suppose you know the name of that icon, you can just search it here. Print the icon print. Okay, I'll just use it. Icon print will be displayed. Function code, I'll give print. Now size is the issue. You can just increase the size. Maybe I'll make it 15. Now it looks good. Similarly for clear, I'll try to put an icon. Maybe clear. We don't have any icon. Don't feel it. Yeah, we don't have. So what I'll do is maybe I'll put a cross icon. So cancel. So this icon cancel. Okay, I'll just put this. So you can just beautify your screen like giving boxes, groups, all those you can do. My icon occupies some maybe 5 or 10 characters, so that is the reason it will go down. 25. That's too big. Okay, 20. Yeah. But still you can just start drag and drop here. See if you can drag and drop. So this is my simple screen I have created with no application toolbar, nothing. We'll just see how it will behave. Now I save it. Go to flow logic. You have and you can activate it. Active. Okay. Now where is my transaction code? See, 93. I have created one. Sorry, 93. It is not that thing. Model pool. I'll just execute. Execute capability. Windows. Execute. So we have given. So one input field, clear and print. Again, nothing will happen just because we haven't given any action codes. Now the thing is, if it is a I have given as a mandatory field, so it says fill all required entries. That is a system check. Okay. Now we'll do some manipulations on this. So what I want is my baby here batch also will not work because I haven't given any function code. So I'm going back. Now what we can do, I'll default some values. Okay. In PBO. So in PBO I can write direct values as well as I can create modules also. So perform maybe init values. Okay. Init, I'll just give it using a parameter whatever I have here. So the field name should be just check the field name element list input field. You can see we can use this. Okay. I just created this for F the forms actually. Init we make it generic. Init comes from a form name. We can make it generic. So that will create an input program. Okay. Input field. I'll try to default it equal to first value. We'll see whether this works or not. Now the expectation is whenever you open the transaction, this value should get populated. Then what else I can do is, okay, now there is something called screen structure. Screen. I just show that as the so the screen structure is holding all my system data. Okay, so what it is like the name of the field. If you are giving any group, that group name, you want to set it as required field, input field. These are like for dynamic controls. So there will be requirements like okay, this field suppose if my user is user to 400, or based on my user or based on my some other values. This field enable disabling, all this you can control using this intensified. All this is field property, active, display 3D, value, help. Everything is my field properties. This is my field name. Okay. So how we can access this is we can just so required input output. Input output means is it open for input or not. So if the values are 0 and 1, invisible, you want to make it invisible, you can just use this parameter. Now I'll just here my purpose is what I'll do is I'll just say if user is maybe user 400, it only for this user the field should be enabled, otherwise it should not be filled. Enable. Okay, so we'll see how we can write the code. Let me see that defaulting is working or not first. Okay, error. What is error? Input field is unknown. Okay, it's not accepting this as a field. So we'll see how we can access it. Okay, now if there is only one screen here, so one element, so it is fine. So if you have multiple fields, you can what generally do is they will say loop at screen. Sorry, screen. Okay. Then if you don't change any values, it is fine. Okay, this is the kind of what you say. If you change the values at the end, you will say the modify screen. Simple. We'll see how it behaves in my debug mode. I'll just put some code so that it will stop. So this will be like a internal table with my header. Now I'll just again I'll try to put a breakpoint. Execute. We should go and stop there. See, this is loop. What will happen is let me open that screen parameter. Okay. This is screen. Okay. Now the first screen name is input field. That is the first field. So it will loop at all the screens available. So screen elements. The first screen is input field. Now if I want to see what all are there in my screen, you can just I think this will help. Okay, this doesn't help. Modify screen. So this is structure actually. So here you see required input field, output is available. So all these are dynamically controllable. Now I'll make it invisible is 0 means it is deactivated. 1 means active. So input is available here. Dynamically I can just check whether okay. These values you can set actually on different conditions. I'll execute it. Now it should come to my next field value. So my screen I'll just see the clear button. This is my second field. Okay, this is my second field. Clear button. Next should be my print button. So I have a loop print. So the basic condition what we will put is a loop at screen, then the field name. So if you want to control my input field, you can put the if condition there. So see, I have dynamically disabled it, so it will not be available for input. Okay. So then one more thing is here there is a system field called ucom, user command. Okay. So it will capture whatever the field we click. This will be captured here. So I clicked on back. So either you can see you have given the function code there. So that is not accepting anything. Okay code. Let me see. No, that's not working. No. Okay, fine. So this psi ucom will have whatever the value clicked on. Okay. So in my system, I think for this program, I have not given the F code, so otherwise F code should work. In the standard program we saw it, last F code is, we just see why it doesn't work. So it comes 3 times, I think it goes up. Now it is open. Okay, I haven't written any code for my back, so it just came back to my same screen. I'll just close it. I'll see what is the field for my F code. Element list. So nothing I have given for my OK code. So what I'll do is I'll give maybe OK code. So this type is OK means it will capture the system fields, okay, the comments. So now we'll see in debug. The expectation is whatever if you F code, F hyphen code, OK hyphen code, all are same actually. Now I'll execute it again. 3. I'll execute it. So it should come for the loop modify screen. See it has come. I'll just put it standard. Okay. Again modify. Now first iteration is my screen name. If I go OK code. We have declared the OK code now, so it will just check for that. Now all the fields will change. Now next it's input field, clear button, and print. Now OK code, what it is there? Nothing is there. Just again one. Just come back. I'll click on back. Okay, it's not creating back. Doesn't take. First field is OK code. So if this is IU.com, there is some issue with the OK code. Let me see what is the back. So if you say okay on my back something should happen, actually what will go is it go back to screen or screen 0 or whatever it is, we can give it. So it just this will again run for 3 times and go back. Now we have given nothing, so nothing happened. Now we'll try to write some code for it. This is PBO. So we have to write any actions on PI. I'll remove this. Maybe if my field name. Now what I'll do is to screen. So same shortcut you can use it here. Name. Okay. Equal to I'll give that field name input field. So now this what code I have put in here will trigger only for my this particular field. So what I'll do is I'll check for user. Size of bus equal to 3. Okay. I'll check for my user. User 400. Else. Now I'll put my screen parameter input. Okay. Equal to maybe now it is 1. 1 means enable it. Okay. Else screen input would be 0. This is how you can just modify the values. After this modify screen is mandatory, otherwise it will just update the value and screen will not be modified. So now the expectation here is this input field, if my user is user 400 it will be enabled, otherwise it is disabled. I'll just put a breakpoint here. Execute. Stop. Field name I would have missed out now. Input field. Okay. The typo error. FIELD. I'll just come back again. Just close it because I'll have to activate F5. Sometimes it's let me execute it again. We'll see. C93 execute. What is that? what will happen is my user is, so again check for me user name 400. So I'll just try changing it. I'll make it 200. Okay, so it's 200. Now it is like, okay, if it is not user, it will set as 0. So what will happen is modify screen input. I'll just see what is the value. It is 1. Okay, now it will be 0 and I'm modifying the screen. Now the behavior is, it is disabled. So this is how dynamically you can control based on some conditions. Whatever conditions, sometimes it will be based on users or some other value of the field. So this is the part like only field if I am having. Suppose if this is part of some other group or group 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 4 groups. So logically if you screen the design like so I have 4 groups and this is part of maybe 2 groups, you can just enable and disable. So same way, instead of my field name, I'll just put my group name. That is completely based on my if condition now. So now whatever I put in my if condition, it will take it up. So now what will happen, instead of name, because I don't have any group, see anything you can take it. Group 1, 2, 3, 4, you see here 1, 2, 3 and 4. So whatever user groups you put on the screen, you can put it here. So based on condition, if you want to completely make it invisible or just enable or disable, everything you can play around with this particular screen values. I'll just keep it as name only. Currently we'll see. Now next we'll go with my, so this is on my PBO level. Next I'll go try to, I'll just see if my text comes up. Not sure whether that will turn up. I'll go to my PBO, sorry PI. Means after input, if I want to see the value. Okay, now if my I equal to, I'll put for back. Okay, so we have different loop screen exit screens. Okay, sorry, screen exit commands. You can have leave screen. Okay, or you can give the number leave to screen and give some screen number. So screen 1, 0 or 100, whatever it is. So screen 0 means it will go to the initial screen. Okay, and we have go to screen. I think go to, I think it's not enabled here. Okay, so go to 100. We'll see that if it works. I think this doesn't work. Leave to screen and leave screen. I think these two only should be there. Okay, so if leave screen means it will just come out. Leave to screen 0 means it will go back to the initial screen from where it came up. So currently I'll just give leave to screen. I'll just put a breakpoint. So this is on my back. To put is it? Just take the whole object. Yeah, to code was that. Now let me try putting a breakpoint here. Yeah, some inactive code. Okay, I'll just rerun this. C93 execute. The PBO now that will just go on executing. Nothing will stop actually. For you once it will stop because my input field I have given condition, so it will only stop once. Okay, now I put some input, my 4 plus 6 I'll just put. I have put a code for back. Okay, so this will trigger. No, for any PA it will trigger the user command, but we have put it for screen name, not screen name, and just IUCOM. We'll see back. Okay, now for back what we have given, leave to screen 0. Okay, so it will go back to my initial screen. What expectation? So it has come back to my initial screen. Means from where you started, it will come back there only. So this is how the PI works. Okay, so today we have seen what is a module pull program and different sections of it. So tomorrow maybe we will try taking a practical example, and the big screen will show, like maybe tomorrow I'm planning to take sales order screen, and there we'll analyze what are all the actions available and how the screen works. Okay. Okay then. Now that's it for today. Any clarifications you can give me on WhatsApp. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.